already.
Yep.
Now we have audio.
We have audio.
Hello, everyone. Please let us know if you can hear us. Please let us know if all things are okay, because we went straight to the audio situation, which was not the intent, but did indeed happen. Why can I not find my output? There we go. Perfect. Hello, everyone. Aaron Taylor
Alex, do you have
says...
Skype?
Do I have Skype? No, we skipped it. We're skipping Skype. You're still being a jerk. Got it. Okay. Good morning, everyone. How are you? It has been way too long. I don't think we can call this the weekly live anymore. I think at this point it's the once every 4 to 5 weeks live show. And then next week there may be a weekly live. Wednesday works.
Do we have to put a time on it? Why not? It's just the live show.
I like the idea of the weekly live.
Shows up whenever it wants to.
The unpredictable live show. We can do with that. I can't hear me because I've muted since I haven't had enough of Alex. Successful Geek, you are in the wrong place because you cannot selectively mute people, so you're going to have a slightly weird show.
The live show ... maybe?
The live show ... maybe does work.
This one's for Jenna. Thank you.
Thank you, Successful. I will definitely make sure to totally tell Jenna that we appreciate her.
I mean, she's in the... I don't think she...
I'm right here.
Hi, Jenna. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Anyway, so today we're going to go ahead and jump into the weekly live show, or the weekly live ... maybe show fairly soon. The schedule for the weekly live is going to be, we're going to be talking about a few games that we enjoyed, specifically games that we've played this past weekend, because we all went on a, we all went to IV Games for some content around the upcoming Mythic Mischief, followed by a bit of a trip with, some of our Discord members and friends, and then we're going to talk about some of the games we played then. We're going to follow it up with our usual game show, which I have a different game show than any other games we've done in the past, which ironically is called One of These Things Is Not Like the Other, and we'll get into that later. And then we're going to follow that up with a conversation around games that we want to play, games we want to table that we are excited about for one reason or another. And that is where we are, and now I'll let everyone be social.
I have no clothes to show off today.
No,
I said show off. Remember how I usually...
that was going.
Oh, gosh. That was not
I have no clothes beneath my waist, guys. Here, let me show you.
No, I do. I'll prove it. I'm in jeans. Like a normal human.
Something with the way you communicate. We all heard that going the same direction, and none of us thought it was good.
I mean, I like wearing clothes.
Oh.
I've shown off like my Ginny D sweatshirt and my skirt thing. Like I'm just saying I have no show and tell today.
The context does make sense. I will give you that. The way we all heard it also makes sense. Yep.
Okay.
Anyways, with that, now that we spent that much time being social, so let's go ahead. Basically, it's been a fun week. It's been a fun few weeks. It's been a busy few weeks. This has been one of the most amounts of travel I've dealt with since being a content creator this past month. Just in terms of Gen Con, in terms of Mythic Mischief, in terms of, I mean, it's been a lot going on in a single month, and I don't know if or when it ends. And then I'm gonna be following it up with a whole bunch of holidays in October, which is fun. September might be a temporary breath of fresh air. We'll see, but we'll be around whenever we can be around. So the weekly live.
Amazing right now.
I'm going to WSPG.
You guys came
I might be the only one.
Like just 2 or 3 days too early, because it's been like mid 70s the last 2 days, or like barely getting up to maybe mid 80s. It's felt amazing.
I'm glad, but also I'm not there now, so it doesn't help.
I know. I'm just saying, shoulda, woulda, coulda.
All I'm saying is when your phone, on the way into your state, when your phone's like, hey, by the way, you might have to be careful because I'm too hot right now. That's a level. That's a level.
Yeah, but maybe your phone's just feeling confident and sexy in the moment. You just need to be nice to your phone and not be so condescending about it. Like, if your phone thinks it's so hot it may not even be able to work, just let it have its.
I have jokes I'm not going to make. I'm going to be an appropriate person, and we're going to go ahead and dive into the weekly live. So to that end, let's go ahead and pop this up to over here. I think this other screen, which means I may need to turn on the audio. Nope, the audios are all on. We are good to go. But
for record, I was gonna say a joke, and I'm really happy we got cut off.
But I'm gonna go ahead and start off. Basically, what we're doing is we're picking a few games that we played over the past few days to highlight, and one of mine is Vindication, because dear Lord, I love this game.
So good.
It was so good. Yeah, I played this one with Jenna as well.
I wish I did get to play this.
What? Have
I
you played?
Wish I had gotten to play this one. I played it one time with you.
It's so good. Anytime, Devin. Anytime. I'll bring this down to PAX Unplugged. I don't care. I'll make time for this game.
Just the cards?
Just the cards. Just the cards, obviously. But Vindication, like I like this game so much that I'm offended right now. That's a 7.8. Like that's the level. Like I'm like, oh, it's a 7.8 on BGG. People are wrong.
8
Yeah.
plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
this
sure.
this is successful. Well, I always use the pet module. That's a good question. I enjoy the pet module's existence while not interacting with it at all. So
Yeah, I didn't either.
Oh, that's not a joke. There's something called the pet module.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's basically it adds a new So it's one of the things I love about Vindication. Vindication is every time I play this game, I'm like it should be higher on my list, and I say higher, I'm like it's been in the top 20 since I played it, and I still think it should be higher and higher and higher. And the variability that this game has is so intense, and one of the things I love is there's decks of cards all over the place that I made sure to bring, of course, and you only ever use a few of those cards from each deck. You only ever see a small smattering of cards. This past game we had, there were multiple cards that came out that I was like, I've never seen that card before, and they weren't expansions or anything else. They were just cards that were mixed in and just hadn't had the chance to see. And then there's modules, so like even the base game. Go ahead, Meg.
Why did I not play with the pet module?
We did play with the pet. Why did you and I not play with the pet module when I taught it to you?
When I played with Travis?
Because I don't really play a lot of the Vindication expansions. I haven't felt the need to. I didn't even know there's something called the pet module. You can come down and play it with the pet module, Meg.
Okay.
Yeah. Successful. Nat did not win. I won and I didn't use pets. So sorry about that. But
That sounds like so much like Alex. I had the option to use pets and I abstained. Hardcore.
but it's the game, the base game alone, before we get into expansions, there are a lot of expansions. The base game alone has so many modules that you can mix in to make the experience dynamic. And it's one of those things I'm always happy to have them, but I've never felt the need for them because of how dynamic even the base game is. Devin, I'm not sure if you're raising your hand because you have a question or do it for Stacey.
I was just doing it to do it. I wanted to see what would happen.
Yeah, I'd asked you a question. That's what happened. But yeah, I love Vindication. I want to play it more. It's one of those games that makes me almost wish I wasn't a content creator so I could play my favorite games all the time instead of not just like half the time.
I need to get Vindication.
That's mine.
It's fun. It's a very good one.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good.
Who wants to go next with one of their picks? I have another pick. I picked 2 for this section.
Oh, I'll go. Blood Rage.
Blood Rage. Okay.
Because I got to
Pick
play
the
it for
ones
the
that
first
I
time.
wanted.
No, son of a gun.
we can double up. We can double up.
Fair.
Okay.
Stupid. Why would I pick that?
No, you can
just-
talk about it.
So Jen and I both got to play Blood Rage for the first time. We played it with Alex and George, and it was a delightful time. Until the very end, Alex and Meg combined because they would come back and forth depending on who was in the room to take the turns. But absolutely getting trounced in 4th place until the very last round. But I had a delightful time. Alex gave us a really good teach on it.
To be clear, we
George,
still lost the game in 4th place, but it went from being behind by 70 points to a late game catch up and being behind by like 2 points.
Yes. So I had a really good time with it. George showed us how strong the Loki strategy was, and then Jenna and I showed Alex how strong not doing what he was doing did. And so it was a really good time. I liked it a lot. I can see why it's a fan favorite. I don't know where that sentence was going. I'm just going to pivot and stop there. I can see why it's fan favorite. I liked it a lot. I'm curious about other content for it and seeing like how it could add things. I know that there were, Alex, you said there were like 2 different expansions that were available.
So there's the Mystics, which are an interesting expansion that I overall like. I have minor reasons why I don't always love them, but I like them. There's the Gods of Asgard, which give you effectively 2 gods that are floating around the board that give you something that changes the way battles occur in that region. And so the gods are in play and just keep bouncing around depending when you win. Those give you... I like that, but not every game, but I like it a lot. And then the one that I think is lots of fun, but also expensive, is the Kickstarter upgrade pack from the Blood Rage Digital when they did that. And that just gives you a ton new cards and beasts and monsters and all these different things. I do think it's not something I would recommend playing off the bat. It gives you a lot of additional ways. Blood Rage has a lot of almost rock, paper, scissors going on in some of the ways things counter each other. And the extra stuff, while still fitting into that mold, is a lot to pick up. So mentally, if you have a feel for Blood Rage, you're starting to learn everything, I recommend getting more and more confident with it before you start adding new things. But I do love it.
For me, the thing that I think I love the most about it is the Ragnarok and that you're losing areas as the game progresses. So instead, like in this one, it's you have as much area as possible when you have the least units and like the weakest units. And as you start getting, you can summon more people and your people are stronger, you're actually like being squeezed into a smaller area to like force fighting, which I think is just really like a clever way to force that confrontation and have it feel normal without feeling like I'm just gonna go attack so and so. It's like you have to.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
even think about that, Meg, but
It's
because like
cool.
I felt like in the last round, George used that big, heavy sword dude a couple times and just smashed people out of a region, and I was like, he just is. It's taken out so many people, but the options are fewer though, so it
Yeah.
feels like very much more condensed in the
Yeah.
fight. Jenna, what do you think about it?
Enjoyed it. I usually am not huge on like combat and stuff, but this one I think it makes it better because it's not always bad if you lose warriors.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would probably go for the low key strategy if I knew more.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I really enjoyed it.
I liked the card play. I think that was just my
Yeah, I
favorite
like the
part of
close
it was
drafting.
like I think area control is cool, but area control that's like controlled by or influenced by what you pick and the things that you draft. Because like Nat was sitting to our side the whole time we were playing, and he kept just looking at my cards as I drafted, and so it kind of felt fun to be like, oh, this is what I'm doing, and I'm going to pair that with this and this and this and this. And there were some rounds where I didn't really pick a set of cards to be done in a bunch of different ways. I picked like my entire hand to involve like one territory again and again and again and again. And that was really cool to see that you can pick a strategy that is very focused or spread it out across a bunch of different things.
Yeah, I really like. There's a lot of cards that like when you played them, they made you feel like really strong.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna use this, and everyone else's cards that have abilities, you can't use them.
I think that was my favorite part, is just the
Yeah.
reactions that other players get when you play your card, where they're like, you know, +6, and you're like, discard and do another one, and you're like,
Was that you in round
I
2
don't
who
know.
I wanted to like win the middle Yggdrasil and you played the cancel all cards, get the point value?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what tanked me, because that's one thing. One of the things I like about Blood Rage is you can have a terrible round and still come back. Like we had a good round 1, then at round 2 we got nothing done because our goal was to take Yggdrasil early on, and we had it all planned out, and everything was going to be perfect and amazing. And then Jenna destroyed all the only combat card we really had, and so my entire play for round 2 was just tanked, and we ended the round 2 with no warriors on the board, nothing happening, and complete reset to 0. And so, first of all, kudos to Jenna for just wiping it. And secondly, isn't there, after that, in round 3, we were still able to come back to almost being back in the mix. Just shy of 2 points from being behind by like 50, which is, I like how, and like when you lose a combat, you don't lose your card. You only lose the card when you win the combat. So like there's lots of things going on that really balance the structures and make it so it's just not punishing, even while it seems punishing.
Yeah, I do like the quests as well. They're just like little fun things that you can just do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Nice.
So that's Blood Rage. Jenna, go ahead and take one before we steal your next one. Which I guess it means I'm letting Meg get hers one stolen.
I don't think it will.
My other one was a smaller one that we played at IV, and that was Splitto, which is from 25th Century Games,
Yes.
I believe. And this one, I kept on saying it, but it kind of reminds me of a more interactive point salad, because you are doing close drafting again, and you're working with the two people on your left and your right in order to get points, and you're trying to even it out as well as possible so that you multiply the two scores on your left and your right, and that's your ending score. Yeah, I really like this one.
Yeah, I agree. This is one that I was actually hoping. I think you and I talked about this. You and I were both like debating bringing Splitto on the trip, and then neither one of us did. But Ivy had it. But yeah. I enjoy Splitto a lot. Again, I'm kind of like, I don't think it's an amazing game, but I'm a little offended at 6.6 over there. But it is very quick to teach, very quick to play, and just overall satisfying. I think it's my preferred shared pool game at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I enjoy.
So you didn't get to what?
Try it.
Oh, you didn't? Ooh.
No.
You were there.
That was
I
when
think
we
you might
played
have
it
been
when she
filming.
was doing her content.
Ah.
Yeah.
We played it. Oh, I'm not going to spoil it.
Well, it is on BGA as well, I'll say that. Although I think this is one of those ones that's better in real time as opposed to like pacing out over like a month.
Yeah.
Nice.
Meg, to you.
So mine I thought about it and I thought about the trip, and then I was like, oh my goodness, I think the game I connected the most with was Mythic
Mon-
Mischief.
Oh, I thought you
Interesting.
were gonna say
I
Monikers.
was thinking about it.
So
Monikers,
good.
I had so much fun, but Mythic
Yeah.
Mischief, like thought and brain wise, like I reconnected with this game so well that, we all went down to play, we got to play the new factions, and I felt that I was just playing really well and really cleanly throughout the thing. And then
Really well is an understatement. You
Oh,
were
killed it.
flawless.
it was so much fun. I won like almost all of my games. I got to beat Zach from IV Studios, which is like a big thing to beat Zach.
It is.
They have these things called 3-catch puzzles now, where they set you up like in the middle of a game. And for those that don't know, in Mythic Mischief, you're on like a chess-style board, and each person has 3 figures, and then you're trying to basically manipulate where their figures are so that the bad guy moves over them to capture them on their turn. And these puzzles are set up in the middle of a game that you should be able to, in your turn, with everything they give you, set up 3 catches in one turn. And I was able to do it, and oh my gosh, I was like so happy and so excited and then I was thinking about it. So for you guys, I was on the phone with my sister yesterday and talking about the trip and things like that, and I was explaining this game to her, and I was trying to just verbally explain like what Mythic Mischief is and what abstract games are, because she's not really a gamer. And as I was describing it and like how it's related to chess and things like that, and how things are similar but different, I was just like, oh my gosh, it was probably my best memory of a game the entire trip. I just had so much fun with how thinky this game is. It is very similar to things like chess and stuff like that, but I think that the new factions, I played the werewolves, but then I also played the gnomes, because at first I thought maybe it was like a faction thing, but even playing the gnomes, I think that this trip I really clicked with how Mythic Mischief works and just really loved it.
I love the gnomes a lot.
Yeah, me too.
I think the 3-catch puzzles were such a delightful element that we didn't have the last time that we were there, when we were doing Fractured Sky, but we got to play a couple games of Mythic Mischief on camera and off camera, and it was so nice to try that out, because I'm not someone who's very good with spatial puzzles. It's Mythic Mischief is the weakest game for me out of IV's lineup. Not in terms of me not liking it, but in terms of me being good at it. It's just I'm just not as equipped to deal with people, I think, setting up, and I think I do an okay job when I'm playing. I don't set myself up well to not be eviscerated by the person's next turn. And it's partially because I just can't process or see what they're doing, but I still had an absolutely delightful time. And the 3-catch puzzles in particular were great because I actually think it teaches you the game pretty well.
Yes.
If you really have to identify all the ways that you can combine the abilities of your faction that you're playing with. So I do think that if you do enough of those 3-catch puzzles, especially within a time limit, you really can start to learn a little bit of fluency with that particular faction. So I thought they were really clever. I also just love puzzles. So that was as fun as playing against another person for me, was just trying to navigate and figure out how to solve that. So I had a blast with Myth of Mischief, even though I sucked hardcore at it.
And I believe for those, they're going to make a little book of them that I think, thinking back about it, I almost prefer the 3-catch puzzles over a solo mode of just resetting and doing puzzles.
I 100% agree. I want to see as many puzzles as possible out there. Like it's very satisfying. It feels like, it's very satisfying. I agree very, very much so. All right. For my second game, actually, let's go round robin. Let's mix it up. Meg, do you want to go second as well?
Sure. What was my second game? It was Emile Fiori.
Ooh.
So
Meg's picking the game she was good at. That's what's happening.
My brain could not understand.
So this is another game.
So late at night.
I know. Oh, so this is another one that was similar to Mythic Mischief, where I just connected with the game. I was like, I hear the rules. I have these cards in my hand. I know exactly what to do, and it felt so good. I really enjoyed this one. I think it is very light. For anyone, it's mostly collection in different areas, I guess, as you're playing cards just to score more points than anybody else. But I think it is very charming with the little tiles. The thing I will say, granted, we played it on an ottoman, so it was even on a not so hard surface. It got bumped once or twice, and that can be very frustrating. So that's the only thing for me, is playing it on a surface that it can't get bumped. If you really bump it, I would just reset the game. Like if it got bumped to the point where everyone's things moved, if you can't walk it back. That was my only thing about it. But I had such a delightful time with this one that I jived with I knew what it wanted and I did it.
And there's an expansion too, and I haven't looked into what the expansion does, but I want to get my hands on it. But yeah, I agree. This is one that the first time I played it, I kind of was like, okay, that's fun, but I don't know if I need to keep playing it. But I keep pulling it out and enjoying it, so it's working.
I enjoyed it. I just was horrible at it.
I mean, when you guys were playing that, I was coaching / just watching people play Dune Imperium, and I don't know if it was just because I was tired because you guys started late at night, but the idea of playing the game that you guys were playing versus simply watching other people play Dune Imperium, I was like, I'm gonna go back to Dune. I was like, I'm just gonna go back to Dune. I can't do this. But also, my brain was not working. It looked like you guys were playing Hieroglyphics, the game, at like 10 o'clock at night.
But it was basically like set collection. It's like almost like Uno. You have a red 7, you play the red 7 on the red 7 spot. That's all it is.
It has a drop more strategy than Uno, but it is not.
Sure.
Yeah.
As far as matching, like you don't need to. It's not like every symbol does something. It's just if your card matches the symbol on the board, that's all it is.
It is a very simple game to pick up the rules, and then from there, just trying to optimize is where the game is at.
Yeah.
Yep.
Louise.
Jenna, it's you.
My second one is Wonderland's War, which I
have you finished that game yet?
Played.
Have you finished it yet?
Go screw
No,
yourself.
we're still going. It was a very, very long game, and I think that's the only like negative thing about it is that it plays very long.
I think just like Dune, that should be played with 3 people. I think that's
I think 4 players in a non-group, like if you don't have a setting with other people around you, 4 players who know the game, who are in a dedicated just the 4 of them game night, can do it in a reasonable pace. But otherwise,
well, in 4 players, like if you have people who can play fast, if you have people who already know the game, then 4 players makes the competition in the areas a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
But 3 players, I think, just plays smoother, faster.
Yeah. In our defense, we also like stopped, made dinner, hung out for like an hour, and then went back to the game after. So
Devin was playing.
James was playing.
So freaking fast in Wonderland's War. It's not even funny. Okay.
Speaking of Devin, what was your next game?
My next game was actually probably the worst received game collectively that I had a delightful time with, which was getting to teach people Captain Sonar.
I liked it.
I love that game. You definitely have to. I think after it, the collective blood pressure in the room was at an unhealthy level. But we played a full 8-player game of Captain Sonar. We only did it once. I really like it. I think the combination of real time plus having to connect all of those roles plus pushing everything across the table is just a blast. I think that if you have the right group, I think people were stressed, but there was no there was no vitriol, there was no snapping at each other or anything like that. So I thought it went well, even though it definitely was a one and done session.
I was thinking it.
Across from Alex and
I wasn't saying it.
Victory.
I was thinking.
Oh, sure, but that was 2 people sharing a single role that were
which is
within the role.
Insane, yeah. So I played as the operative on the same team as Devin, who is the captain. And the moment when I thought, and when we honed in on where they were, I was like, Devin, they're here! Blast them now! And I hear him going like, what are they called? Get a torpedo ready. Get a torpedo. And it's like, it's just the coolest moment of like how he's talking and like you're in the language of like what submarine people do. Because I'm like doing this and then he's like, do this, do that. And I'm like, that's when it became like the most fun.
He came across as a legit captain. Like he's in control of the sub. We're panicking. He's like, okay, don't worry. Just reset. We'll get them. Don't worry. And then like we did reset and we tracked them down and we narrowed it down.
Get a drone ready.
Like, we got a thing. It's like, okay, you prepped torpedoes. Yep. Okay. Launch torpedoes in J4. Direct hit. No. Okay. Direct, indirect hit. Drop a mine now. Okay, good. Drop a mine. Move, navigate to the left. Forward. Okay, good. Boom. You got them. Yep. Activate mine. Boom. Direct hit. Good job, crew. We got 1 more damage left to go. Wait, hold up. Okay, swivel around. Okay, to the left. Nope. No, we lost them. You got them. Okay, we got drop a drone in sector D4. Yep. Okay. drop, torpedo ready, launch to D4, indirect hit, good job team, go home, breakfast time. It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
It was really awesome, Devin. I want you to always be the captain.
My favorite part was the mine. When the mine was like a direct hit, because when we hit them with the torpedo, I was like, they've got 3 directions that they could go. They could go south, they could go east, and I was like, but I think they're gonna go north and try to go around the island. And so that when they were like north, I was like, activate the mine. You're dead.
But it really is the way you present it was just somebody. I mean, clearly you played the game before. You had the control. That's what it was.
Good.
You were dealing with people who are panicking, and you're dealing with it well, and you're dealing with knowing what's going on. You're dealing with that well.
I think the fun thing for me is like exactly the moment that Meg was talking about, because for the first half of that game, Meg was visibly annoyed.
I didn't get it. I didn't get it.
She was like, I don't know where they are, Alex. I don't know where they are. I don't know where they are. Like, no, stop. I don't know where they are. And then when you guys like dialed in, and then we got the direct hit, and you guys like validated the information that you got, and we damaged them. You're like, oh my gosh, we got the indirect hit. Like, I know where they are now. Like, we're right where they are. That was so cool.
It was good. Good choice.
Yeah, successful Twilight Inscription is so good. I love Twilight Inscription.
Oh, you guys played it?
He was playing it solo.
He played it solo while we did
played
Captain.
I still haven't got to play that. I would love to play
Anytime, Devin. Anytime. Just move to Cleveland.
I'm down.
My last
I'll
pick.
bring the markers.
My last pick is Revive, which Revive I got to play for the first time as well. I know Jenna's played it. I don't think the other 2 of you have played it, right?
I haven't. I've wanted to play this.
I watched it.
I
watched
this
it
so
at the
hard.
end.
This was a game that I was like, I want to play this again this trip. Forget all the other games. I want to play the game this trip. Unfortunately, I didn't, but I'm prepped for it. Like, I'm hoping to play it this Thursday right now. I'm trying to round up my group to play it. But that 8.2 is deserved. This is a game that just feels satisfying at every turn. You're just constantly grabbing cards and slotting them into your board that power up your actions. So you have this like board, and as you place cards into your board, you're taking all these actions just how to expand on the grid. But everything just rewards you. It's one of the things I like in games is games that make you feel like every action is powerful. Like, I love Encyclopedia because you keep getting these other cards and every action feels stronger. Go ahead, Meg.
Do you think that the 3.42 is deserved?
Ooh, is that the weight rating?
Yeah.
I think the
Just
game.
curious.
So interesting. So I don't think it is. No, I think it's easier than that. I think Revive looks complicated.
So,
it has a lot
the thing
going on.
about complexity, which I think you know and agree, but the complexity isn't how complex
You're
the
right.
rules
The
are; it's how
strategy.
complex the decisions are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So fine. So sure. 3.42 is fine.
Oh, is that really?
Yeah,
really what it
I know
means?
that AP was with us, and he kind of was like, he's part of my regular game group, so I was like, as soon as we started, as soon as I got it, I was like, come over here, you gotta learn this so I can teach it to you while we play, so you're ready to play it the next time. And he's like, oh, it looks too complicated. I was like, give me 4 minutes, I'll teach you the game. I taught him in 4 minutes. I was like, do this, slot a card here, do that. Like, once I understood it by playing it, reading the rulebooks was not enough. I had to play it.
Yeah, but I mean, like, based off of our experience with Gosu X, you may have taught it in 4 minutes, but you may not have taught it well.
I love all of you so much. Yeah. But I like Revive. It's really I want to play it again. That's where I am with it. I just want to play it again. So I'm going to play it this week, hopefully, probably.
It reminded me a tiny bit of Lacrimosa with the slotting the cards up and down.
Yep. And I love Lacrimosa as well, so that matches. Go ahead, Jenna.
How much is it where you guys are?
How much is the
In
game?
US? Yeah.
I mean, don't know offhand. You can pull up.
Free for you, baby.
It's so expensive in Canada. That's the only thing holding me back. I think it's like $100 and something.
Girl, your birthday is coming up.
We got you.
We got you.
Yeah, if you ever need, I mean, now that you're coming in for like, monthly trips for Jenna Friday or whatever it's called, you can go ahead and just buy all your games in the U.S. and
True.
import them back.
Bring them
It'll pay
home.
for itself. Okay. Anyways,
I don't think we should talk about that on the internet.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
No, I mean, that's definitely the worst thing we've talked about.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, with that, I think we're going to go ahead and go to the weekly games.
I think that before we do, we should give an honorable mention that was in all of our hearts to Monikers.
Monikers. Oh.
The game of the weekend. We played it so many times. Alex's friend
I think
Akiva.
I think we learned the interesting thing that, like, Meg poops in the shower.
Yep.
Right?
I poop in the shower. Akiva did a Sailor Moon that was
beautiful.
more magical than Sailor Moon
was incredible.
herself.
It was incredible.
Akiba doing charades was just the best. I think my favorite thing was when you guys got done. I think it was either before or after Emile Fiori. I was playing Dune Imperium. You guys played a smaller game of Monikers. And you got to the point where you wanted it to be more competitive. And so you did only the face. And you lifted
We tied.
the Ottoman
We got
up,
to the end of 3 rounds. It was a
and
dead
you just
tie.
did charades at head and above. And the upsetting, the crazy thing, like the amount of clues
were
you guys were
guessing.
like, oh, immediately got. And I was like, what is happening here? Like Jenna did twerking, and it just, her back of her body was vibrating, and her head was just like, and Meg was like, oh, twerking, of course, twerking. And I was like, how are you guys in sync right now?
It's so fun.
Yeah.
I love that.
It was a lot
Should
of
I-
fun.
Monikers was good.
Should
Should
you
I
boost
do
the
one
other-
of them?
We played
No,
Monikers.
no, don't say what it
IV,
is.
And we played
Should I do one of
Monikers.
them and see if chat can guess what it is?
You could
Don't
understand.
say
they don't-
it.
I won't. They don't have the context, so it's even more impressive. 'Cause
Sure,
we at least do the
sure.
Carters in rotation.
Sure. Don't
Chat.
say it. And anyone who was there, don't say it. Because there
Chat,
are some
this is
people in
on
chat
you.
that were there.
Okay, this is the
Anyone
charades
who
part.
was there, don't say it. I'm gonna leave this here for you guys.
What would this be? Ape?
So again, we have the context of knowing the card is in the.
Man, Randy
There we go.
someone got the
925 gamers. Got it.
rock. Got the rock.
There
Michael
we
Joyce.
go. There we
Okay.
go. Some people are saying it.
Some people got it. Some people got it.
That's hilarious.
People's
eyebrow.
With that,
Okay.
I think that's a good time to move to the game show, which we're going to move to. And the game show has a few rules we're going to be getting into, because the game show over here, let's go ahead and hide that section. The game show is called One of These Things Is Not Like the Other.
So we should be watching on YouTube.
You should be watching on YouTube. Let me know when you have YouTube up. And I am going to give you a sample round with some sample rules. And chat, it's up to you to keep track of score, because I'm not doing it. Also, I'm realizing how late it is, and we'll see. We may scratch the last segment for a different game show, just depending on how late this goes, because I'm realizing the time.
Okay. I can
Okay.
see.
Are you all ready? So,
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you the rules, and then we're going to give a sample non-scoring round, and followed by some clarifying rules, followed by 20 questions where we're actually going to score. The basic rules is I'm going to show you 4 things. One of those things is not like the other. You have to go ahead and identify what that thing is, which thing is different, and why it's different. You cannot just say which thing, you have to say why it's different. We're going to go ahead and start off with a sample question right about now.
Do we buzz in or whatever?
You can buzz in as you have it.
Buzz.
Go ahead, Devin.
Paleo.
Why?
Because it doesn't deal with water.
So, this is a fun representation of the rules. You are not incorrect. The answer is not a blue box. Paleo. That is the answer. But I predicted this possibility before I started the game because I am a savant, or something along those lines. But the answer is not a blue box. The other boxes, Aquatica, My Island, and Spirit Island,
Why
are all
are they
blue
blue,
boxes.
though? Why are they
That's
blue
a different
boxes?
conversation. Paleo is the only one that's not blue. But where we are is not a blue box. Paleo is an answer. But other acceptable answers exist as well. For example, My Island is the only 2 to 4 player game count. The rest are 1 to 4 player games. So that's an acceptable answer as well. And to that end, you will get a point. Well, I think I did this in the wrong order, but there will be 1 point per correct answer. And we move on to the next question once the chosen answer
What is a
is
word
given.
game answer?
So, no word game answers. For example, Paleo is the only game without an I in the title. My Island. Yeah, so there's nothing to do with the titles and words, so you don't have to waste time on that. This will be, but anything else is eligible. The idea that they don't deal with water. The idea that it's a blue box. Anything outside the title itself. So like, oh, they all start with a... No, none of that. But anything else from the mechanics, from the publisher, from the designer, from anything else is an eligible answer outside of no word games. And once my answer is chosen, no more points are given for acceptable answers, and we move on to the next answer.
But we can give acceptable answers until we get yours.
Correct. Any acceptable answer is worth a point until you
Well,
get
gee
my
whiz.
answer. And that
Is your answer
basically-
also only 1 point?
My answer is
Holy
also only
moly.
1 point. I can't make my answer better. How are you supposed to know? Yeah.
I don't know.
And with that, we are going to go ahead and start off the show. what I'm going to do is I am going to read off the, I'm not going to read off the answers because I think that'll inhibit my ability to hear the buzzes. There are no points for buzzing incorrect. There are no points lost or anything. There's no reason not to buzz in as fast as possible. You either get it or you don't. Yep. And with that, are you all ready?
Sure.
Mhm.
Okay. And we are starting now.
Because
Go ahead, Jenna.
Space Explorers is not by Floodgate Games.
An unfair first point to Jenna, who just... No, you didn't do the Floodgate booth. You did the 3WS board. Never mind. That's totally fair point. Space
Yeah.
Explorers is not a Floodgate game. Sagrada Vivid
It's
Memories
from
and Fog of
25th
Love
century.
are all Floodgate games, except for Space Explorers, which is not a Floodgate game.
Okay.
Are you ready for question 2? 1 point to Jenna.
Someone keep track. Although if we all keep track of our own points.
Buzz.
Go ahead, Devin.
I know this one.
Small World.
Go ahead.
It's not a drafting game.
There is no drafting
Buzz.
in Small World.
Buzz?
Go ahead, Meg. Let's hear your buzz.
Oh, I can't. I wasn't sure if that was going to be your answer.
It was my answer. The question is an interesting question. Do we want to give
I was
points?
going to say that they're all area control besides Seven Wonders.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too.
Bunny Kingdom, Small World. You are 100% correct. But I think the order of the game as rules is given is you'd lose the point. That's a great answer.
I didn't understand that one was your answer.
Yeah, of course. No,
That's okay.
you should still buzz. But I think
Yeah.
rules-wise, even though you had a good answer, we have it. Okay? But that's a good answer.
I'm
See,
keeping score, by the way.
Yeah, as soon as I created the game, I was like, there's going to be other answers. Then I'm just saying I had to figure it out. Anyways, moving on to the next question is...
Buzz.
Go ahead, Devin.
Lands of Galzier.
What is your answer?
They don't all involve... It doesn't involve animals as meeples or characters or components.
Doesn't it?
I'm pretty sure it's that, but it's Parks. But Parks also has...
Parks
people.
has animals.
Parks does not
The
have
wild
cute
one.
woodland creatures.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. It's the wild components.
What
The wild
components?
resource components.
But like, there's no
Bear.
animals in the art.
It's
The
very
art and all the other ones.
perceptually
are
different, but I'm prepared. I thought Lands of Galzier did. Does it not?
It
No, Lands of
does.
Galzier does. Okay, good. So I'm writing Lands of
Yeah.
Galzier, and I hear you on Parks. I'm still going to give the point to Jenna. I hear your point. It's not
They
cute.
all have
I use the
art.
word cute, Devin.
Oh my goodness! I also. have
gosh.
played
Oh,
Lands of
successful geek says
Galzier,
it.
so that was
So
a guess.
successful is kind of what I'm going for. No anthropomorphic animals.
Yeah.
I just phrase it as cute woodland creatures.
Sure.
Yeah.
Disney animals.
Point to Jenna.
I should have known what Lands of Galzier is.
Yeah. You worried me. I was like, I'm pretty sure Lands of Galzier does, so this question doesn't work. Moving on to the next question, we have...
Buzz.
Go ahead.
Nemesis? No. Oh crap.
Your buzz is invalidated. Next person.
Yep.
Buzz.
Go ahead.
The Great Wall is
Right.
not an Awaken's Realm title.
Incorrect. They are all Awakened
Buzz.
Realms titles.
That's what I thought.
Go ahead, Devin.
The Great Wall is the only Awakened Realms title on that list that doesn't have campaign play.
Nemesis has campaign play.
The Untold Stories.
The Untold
Yeah,
Stories. I'll give you that. I'll give you that point. I thought of that answer and I forgot about the Untold Stories, but that's not the answer I have. But I will give you the point to Devin.
Buzz.
Go ahead.
The Great Wall, because it's the only like non made up world,
Ice Vanguard, Tainted Grail, Nemesis.
like fantasy.
Is it not
I said
fantasy? It has
Vanguard.
mythological. It has mythological creatures, so I wouldn't distinguish.
Yeah,
it
but
from
that's
Tainted Grail.
based in like our history.
So is
And-
Tainted Grail, Arthurian legends to a degree.
okay.
I mean, both have some degree of
Sure,
realism and
sure,
mythical.
sure.
Did Jenna buzz in? I did not.
Buzz.
I've never played any of these
Go
games.
ahead, Devin.
Oh, never mind. Invalidate that, Buzz.
There's a
Buzz?
very specific answer. I'm curious if you guys will get it. Go ahead, Jenna.
Do any of them have Hidden Traitor other than Nemesis?
I don't think so. I
No.
think she's got that.
I'll give you a
I'll
point for
give
it.
a point for that. Okay.
Although
Oh,
one second,
Buzz?
rules
Buzz?
wise. Okay, I'll come back to Jenna's point. Go ahead.
Is Nemesis not co-op?
Nemesis has a co-op and Nemesis has a hidden traitor, but Great Wall has co-op as well. And Tainted Grail has co-op. So they all... Oh, you're saying Ice Vanguard... The Great Wall has co-op and competitive. Too many game modes.
Buzz.
Go ahead.
The Great Wall is the only Awakened Realms title on the list that's had a reprint with a specific second rules update for the rulebook.
Very specific.
We're starting to get too specific here. We're trying...
No. You said every valid answer
so here's the difference.
Here's
the difference. There's a difference between the Great Wall is the only one of those titles that has a W in its name versus the Great Wall is the only title that doesn't have a W in its name. Does that make sense? Finding a way that something is unique is different than finding a way that the others are all similar.
Is Nemesis not tied to Marcin?
I don't believe... I mean, specifically Marcin, I don't believe that. I don't know which ones are and aren't. But yeah. The answer I'm looking for at this point, because I'll move on to it, is Buzz. ISS Vanguard is the... ISS Vanguard is the only title that has not been on Kickstarter.
Oh.
Interesting.
Disclaimer, I work for GameFound. Moving on.
So that puts me at 3, or Jenna at 3, me at 2, Meg at 0. But this is never on Kickstarter. I think in the future, if we haven't got it, instead of saying the answer, you should identify which one is the odd one out for your specific thing.
I could, but the only problem is then whoever gets the point is a different point. It's a level. Moving on to the next one, we have...
Fair. Buzz?
I don't even know who was first.
I think it might have been Devin.
Quacks of Quedlinburg is the only game that doesn't have a legacy version.
Pandemic, Ticket and all have legacy versions. Quacks of Quedlinburg will one day have a legacy version. It's too popular not to.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next one, we have...
I haven't played High Society.
Yeah, Buzz.
Go ahead.
High Society doesn't have drafting.
Ra doesn't have drafting, does it? Orvidel...
I don't know.
Buzz.
Go ahead.
Everdell is the only game that doesn't include bidding.
No auction mechanic in Everdell.
I haven't played the other one. Pull that one out my ass.
Point for Devin. Moving on, we have...
I just learned Raw at Ivy Studios recently. That was the first time I played it.
Buzz?
Go ahead.
Was Wingspan the only game designed by a woman?
You are correct. You get a point. Not my answer.
Buzz?
Go ahead.
Wingspan the only engine building game on the list?
So it would have to be the other way around. It has to be the others have a thing that this one doesn't.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, Jenna.
Wingspan's the only one that doesn't have a bear.
No bear on the cover. Takanoko has a panda, Baron Park has a black bear, and Stuffed Fables has a teddy bear. Wingspan has a bird.
All right, that puts me and Jenna at 4, Meg at 1.
Yep. Okay, moving on to the next one. We have...
Buzz.
Go ahead.
Azul is the only non-polyomino game.
No polyominoes in Azul. Moving on to the next question we have...
I was like, technically, they're all the little. This one I won't know. I don't know. I've only played Last Light once.
Buzz.
Go ahead, Jenna.
Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea is the only one that's not space-themed?
Rising Sun does not take place in space.
Oh, yeah, that's... Never mind. I think I was thinking Beyond the Sun. Damn.
Buzz? Is Last Light the only 4X?
No.
Buzz?
Yes.
Last Light is the only one with light up components?
So again, it has to be that the others have something this one
The
doesn't.
others do not contain light up components?
No.
It's hard when you haven't played any of them.
It is. I tried picking a good mixture of games that are generally available, but we'll see how it goes.
But
Go ahead.
the other 3 besides Last Light are all available in retail?
Last that's available in retail.
Is it right now?
Yeah, you can buy it on Miniature Market.
Mm.
And you should, because it's a great game, everyone.
Can you describe to me what Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea is?
I don't know how to do that without leaning into the questions and answers. If anyone else knows Heroes of Land and Sea, they're welcome to do so. Stacy, Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea is not... Go ahead.
Are all of them about light besides Voidfall?
No.
I've never played that. I'm just like, I don't know.
Stacy, Land, Air, and Sea is a 2-player game. Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea is not.
Buzz?
Yeah.
Is that not true that Rising Sun, Last Light, and Heroes of Air, Land, and Sea all have suns in them?
Voidfall takes place in a galaxy. That's the whole game.
Is
You
there
were
a sun?
you were surprisingly
I have
close
no
in a
idea.
weird way. So I'm gonna go ahead and buzz it out for you, which is Rising Sun is the only one that's not 4X.
Oh, okay.
Voidfall, Last Light, and Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea are all 4X games.
I just didn't know. Didn't know what Heroes of Land and Air and Sea. I know of it. I just haven't played it.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next one we have.
Buzz.
Jenna gets it first.
Brawlopolis is the only one that's not solo only.
Works with 2 players is Sprawlopolis. It's a
Son of a
ideally it's a solo game and you should barely ever play it 2 players, but theoretically you can play it with 2 players.
Right.
I actually put
5
Under
and
Falling
5 and
Skies
1.
for this first instead of Friday, but Under Falling Skies says 1+ on the box, which is stupid, so I had to change it out.
Mm.
Anyways, moving on, we move to the next one, which is going to be
Buzz.
Go ahead.
Alex is the only one not playing this game.
You get a point for that. That's legit. Not the answer I had.
Buzz.
Go ahead.
Devin is the only one that didn't fly home from the weekend trip that we were just on. You guys all flew home.
I shouldn't have done this question, but sure. Go ahead.
Buzz.
Go ahead. Jenna.
Jenna is the only one that lives in Canada.
So the other was all live in the U.S. effectively. Sure. Go ahead.
Buzz.
I shouldn't have done this question.
Devin's the only one that hasn't played 20 Strong. Buzz.
Oh my god.
Buzz?
Oh.
Go ahead, Meg.
Jenna is the only one that wasn't in the Board Game Co. Top 100.
Dear Lord, I should not have done this question. You get a point. I'm going to cap this
Buzz.
out soon,
Buzz.
but this is a mistake. Go ahead.
Who's going?
Just go with
I
Meg.
am.
Oh, is that Devin? Sure, I don't know at this point.
Sorry, Alex is the only one that's not happy with how this last round is scoring out.
No, I'm happy with this. You don't
I'm
get a
not
point for
happy. I'm not happy with it.
Son of a- Don't change your answer. Don't change your
Buzz?
answer.
that. Go ahead, Meg.
Everyone in this list has lost games besides Devin.
Devin's lost. Don't
He
get a
has?
point.
I lost to Alex.
Recently? I was gonna say, I wasn't sure if you've lost now, like the most recent
Buzz.
one.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Jenna is the only one that hasn't hosted a game for us on the live stream.
Yeah, I'll give you a point for that. And then we're going to move on to the final answer because I'm just cutting this off.
Buzz, wait, I have a good one,
Final
Buzz.
answer, Meg. Go ahead.
We all have embers except Jenna.
Jenna has a number.
Jenna
I
has
have
a
an
number.
Why am I so bad at this?
The final answer that I was going for, I should have anticipated. This is my bad. The main channel is Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone else's primary content is on YouTube, and her primary content is Instagram.
That
With
makes
that,
sense.
we'll move to...
Did you see what Stacey said?
What does they say? It's the only one with tricolor here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
So
even
again,
color hair.
that one I wouldn't give
the
that for
dumb thing
because
about doing
we...
a point scoring with 4 friends.
Yes, it is. It was my bad. You'd have to phrase it as what we all have in common that she does not. So
Right.
it's not
You
that
all
we
have
don't...
calyxes.
Yeah, we all
I don't
calyx.
have calyxes.
Yeah, so the 3 of us have calyx in the background. Jen doesn't. That would be eligible, but it's too late now because I realized the horrible mistake I made.
I am mad at you for doing that last question because I was winning.
It was
No, it was-
completely my
Everyone
bad.
was it.
It was tied. We were 6-6.
Completely my bad. Moving on to the next one.
No. If there's 6-6... Oh, wait, there's more questions?
There's 20 questions.
I thought that was the last
I
one.
Oh, I
thought
thought that was the last one.
No. I thought in the
That's
middle.
why we
not
all
that
went crazy.
No.
Yep, I also have the same thing, Aaron. I have 9, Jenna has 6, Meg has 2.
Next one we have. Buzz or not, Jenna?
No Buzz.
Buzz.
Go ahead, Meg.
Pandemic Legacy is the only game not a WSBG. I don't know if
Agricola
Agricola
is
is.
not, but that's a good
Okay.
try.
Buzz.
Go ahead. Wait, I didn't hear Jenna
It
buzz.
was-
She raised her hand.
She
I
did.
said Buzz.
Buzz. Okay, go ahead, Jenna.
Agricola is the only one not in the top 5.
Is that
BGG?
true? Is that true? I have to pull it up.
I think so.
Let's go to browse games. Browse. You can keep buzzing in the meantime, everyone else.
Buzz.
Go ahead.
Mine was that it's the only one not in the top 10.
Terraforming Mars is in the top 6.
Ah.
Which
So
means,
it's-
Devin, you
but is
unfortunately
mine
get that
correct?
point.
Yep.
So,
Buzz?
go ahead.
Buzz? The first 3 are all competitive?
That's a point. That's a
Yep.
point. That's legit. Pandemic Legacy is not co-op. Pandemic Legacy is not
Buzz.
competitive. Go ahead, Devin.
Agricola is the only game that doesn't have a second version of it. Brass, Lancashire, Terraforming Mars, Ares Expedition.
What's Terraforming
and
Mars' second
Pandemic, the other
version?
ones. Ares Expedition.
There's Expedition.
Ares Expedition, Pandemic Legacy.
They all have different versions.
Agricola has Cavern
all
at that
different
point.
variants of the game.
It depends on how
There's
close.
also,
It's too debatable. Ares Expedition
There's
versus Cavern.
the
Yeah.
two-player version of Agricola too, I think.
There is, but are there two-player versions of the rest? You're saying
I
Agricola's
think
the
she
only one.
was
No, I was just
negating
saying
my
there's the
answer.
other version.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Buzz?
Gotcha.
Buzz?
Go ahead.
Terraforming Mars is the only one that takes place in space?
So the others do not take
The
place in
others
space.
are all about
I'll give
Earth?
It to you. I'll give it to you.
Buzz then.
Go ahead.
Agricola's the only farming.
So the other ones would have to be about something that Agricola is not. So the others take place in
Terraforming
Earth,
Mars has some farming, right?
but immaterial.
Buzz.
The others would have to be.
You grow.
Go ahead, Jen. With that one.
Pandemic Legacy is the only one that's not competitive.
You better said
I
already.
didn't. Oh, Meg's already said
Yeah.
that. Okay.
We have another answer still eligible on the table, which I don't think chat got either.
Buzz?
Go ahead.
I don't know if this makes sense, but like Brass, Terraforming Mars, and Pandemic are all about other people in the world, and Agricola is about your farm. Like it's the only one that's not about.
Too vague. You'd have the
Global
same issue
impact?
with Terraforming Mars. I understand what you're going for. It's not
Yeah.
incorrect. It's just again too vague. All right, we're gonna go ahead to the final answer. Terraforming Mars was never number 1.
Agricola was?
I was actually wondering about that. I was
Agricola's
like,
number
Ooh.
1.
I thought
Agricola's number
Agricola
one.
wasn't and Terraforming Mars was. I was going to say
Agricola,
that.
Puerto
I would have gotten it
Rico.
wrong.
There's a bunch of them that have been back in the day.
I'm too young for that.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on to the next one, we have.
Buzz.
Go ahead, Devin.
Cthulhu Death May Die was never published by Fantasy Flight Games.
Indeed, a point for you.
Yeah.
Moving on, we
Running
have.
away.
Buzz.
Go ahead.
Tiny Epic Ninjas is not a game. Buzz.
Go ahead.
Bora Bora is not a Stefan Feld game.
Incorrect.
Buzz?
Go ahead.
Is Bruges not a place?
Bruges is a place. I specifically made sure they're all places. I changed the games to take away that answer.
But you specifically made sure they're all places.
I don't know these games, so. Buzz?
Go ahead.
3 of them have a blue cover.
Is that real? No. No. Okay.
Buzz.
Go ahead.
Bruges is not a Stefan Feld game.
Nope. Incorrect.
So to be
Buzz.
fair, I know them,
Go
I just
ahead.
haven't played them.
Istanbul
Yeah,
is not
I've
a
never
Stefan
played any
Feld
of these.
I'm not giving Devin the point, but you're correct. Istanbul is not
What?
Stefan. I'm not giving you the point. You
I
you
know
just
that he was a designer of like 2 of those
You just
games.
went-
I was,
no, I'm-
it was
I'm-
just a process of elimination.
I'm using my overruling ability to say there's not a chance on earth you're getting that point.
What? I played the game, man. I played the game.
Yeah, I gave you too many leeways, so no. Anyways. Moving on to the next one.
Buzz?
Go ahead.
I buzzed when I thought I knew.
You can unbuzz.
Oh.
Buzz.
Can I say it?
Sure. Sooner rather than
Agricola, Seven Wonders, and Splendor all have random markets, and Dominion has a fixed market.
I don't think they have markets per se, do they?
Seven Wonders doesn't have a market.
Well,
Yeah.
Buzz.
Go ahead, Devin.
Agricola is the only one that's not an engine builder.
Is Dominion an engine builder inherently?
Yeah.
It's deck building,
Like
engine
deck
builder.
builder.
It's deck.
Yeah.
Deck
Yeah.
building is an engine builder. I don't know if it is. Go ahead, Jenna.
Dominion's the only one that doesn't have like a 2-player variation.
Does not have a 2-player version. Dominion.
Ah.
We have Seven Wonders Duel. We have Agricola, all creatures big and small, and we have Splendor Duel.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to the next one, we have.
Didn't you teach me Dominion, Alex?
Buzz.
I did. Dominion can be
Buzz.
played 2-player version. Doesn't have a 2-player version. Devin, go ahead. Yes.
Sagrada doesn't have dice in it.
Sagrada does have dice in it. Jenna, go ahead.
Does Elder Sign have dice in it?
Buzz, buzz, buzz,
Go
buzz,
ahead,
buzz.
Meg.
2, 3, and 4 have custom dice.
No.
Sagrada does not. That's true.
I mean,
That is true.
they have. You saying unique icons on their dice?
No, that was
Sure,
definitely the
sure.
answer.
No, I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you.
Oh,
Not-
okay.
I can't call it custom or not. They have unique. I'll give that a point. That's a
Yeah,
fair
yeah,
point.
yeah. Like, and it's not the standard 1 through 6
But-
thing.
Yes.
They're
Go ahead, Devin. Point for Meg on that. Yes, Devin.
In the use of dice in the game, Sagrada's the only one that doesn't have like Yahtzee style progressive rolling.
Doesn't have Yahtzee. Sagrada.
Mm.
I specifically chose a game with dice so people couldn't just say dice. Yep.
Sagrada is nothing but dice.
Yes.
I haven't played it. Give me a
Moving to the next one we have. We're getting to the final ones. We're actually down to like 2 or 3 questions left at this point. Moving on, we have. Wait, didn't go.
Buzz.
Devin.
Ascension is the only one that doesn't have a
clear card.
overlays.
No
Yeah.
clear cards, Ascension.
Damn it! I'm getting too into this game.
Moving on, we have the next question is. Oops, sorry, I scrolled by mistake.
What?
I scrolled.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Da, 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 da.
Buzz?
Go ahead.
2, 3, and 4 have cardboard token component type things, and Codenames is only cards.
That's a legit answer. You got a point for that.
Buzz.
Yep.
Spirit Island is the only one not published by CGE.
I do not believe Mage Knight is published by CG. It's published by WizKids.
Sorry, Buzz then. Spirit Island is the only one not designed by Vlada Chattel.
That is the correct answer. I specifically made sure to have Mage Knight in there for a reason.
That was his board games. Dang.
Moving on to, I think, the last question. Well, second last.
Buzz?
Go ahead.
Twilight Imperium is the only competitive one. Everything else is co-op.
Arkham Horror Gloomhaven. Lords of Waterdeep is competitive.
Only competitive?
I think so. I'm not aware of
Buzz.
co-op.
Oh, but no.
Buzz.
Go ahead.
Twilight Imperium is the only one that doesn't have a fantasy setting.
So Arkham Horror Gloomhaven. Twilight Imperium does
Like-
not have a fantasy setting?
It's a sci-fi.
Is that different, I guess? Arguably, an Arkham Horror is fantasy? I don't know if I'd call it that in that case.
Yeah, I don't think Arkham Horror is actually fantasy. I would call it
Call
like
it horror.
horror. Yeah, so as soon as I said it, I realized I was wrong. I was just gonna let you decide that.
Buzz?
Go ahead.
Gloomhaven is the only one not with like existing source material first.
Twilight Imperium. I don't know if Twilight Imperium has existing source material. Unless you mean space in general, I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Buzz.
Jenna?
Twilight Imperium is the only one that has a roll and write or flip and write version. I don't know if you would consider.
So it's usually the thing that,
Twilight
yeah, so having something unique, it has to be the others have something that's different.
Yeah, so Buzz,
Go ahead.
2, 3, and 4 all have like narrative sections that you read.
Arkham Horror, Gloomhaven.
They all have a narrative component.
Lords of Waterdeep. So Lords of Waterdeep has flavor text on cards. I don't know Twilight Imperium will.
Like Arkham Horror.
Devin, does Twilight Imperium have any sense of flavor or text being read?
Yeah.
Okay, so no. I'm going to go to the final answer in a second.
Twilight Imperium's big space 4X. Arkham Horror is a cooperative card playing game. Deck building. Gloomhaven is a cooperative campaign game. Lords of Waterdeep is a classic worker placement game.
And the answer?
Buzz?
Oh, wait. Go ahead.
2, 3, and 4, you're all fighting against something evil?
Oh, I saw it flip
I didn't
up
see
on
it.
the screen.
Interesting. So in 2, 3, and 4, there is no sense. In Twilight Imperium, you're only fighting against each other. In Arkham Horror, Gloomhaven, and Lords of Waterdeep, you're not actually fighting each
You're
other.
only fighting against each other.
In Lords of Waterdeep, it's a competitive game, but you're not technically fighting against each
Because
other.
the concept of worker placement game, you're taking the spots away.
No,
from each
the
other.
game
Either way,
is
there's
competitive.
something
He's referring to
evil.
the theme. They're theme-wise. I don't disagree. I think it's again, I could argue against it, but I also hear your point.
Okay.
The point for it.
Point for me.
Okay.
And with that, Lords of
No,
Waterdeep.
I'm at 3.
Lords of Waterdeep has only one edition.
Ah.
We have Twilight Imperium has multiple editions, Arkham Horror has multiple editions, and Gloomhaven now has second edition. Lords of Waterdeep just has Lords of Waterdeep.
Are they redoing it now?
Are they redoing it now? If they are, then I'll take back Devin's. Oh no, I got a point for that. Never mind. Anyways, that is the game. According to Aaron Taylor, Meg, you have more than 3. You have 7. It's Devin at 15, Jenna at 7, Meg at 7. That's what he has.
That's
I don't know if
the
that's
score
true.
I have as well.
Oh, so Devin has a score as well. And that is the game.
Good game.
Cool.
Yeah. A little vague at times, other than 1 or 2 questions. I think it worked decently enough. Never
Nice.
doing the 4 of us again in a question.
That's where you go all in
I could have gone for days on that question.
If we want a spoiler for next week's game,
Yes.
especially if Jenna's joining us, because I know she's wanted to do this, we're ready to do another Dice is Right.
Ooh,
If Jen is in, Jen is in. She's welcome to join.
that is right.
Okay. Well, with that, I think I am going to wrap it up because the next segment, we can save the next segment for, I guess, for next week, or I guess whenever it is, because I unfortunately do have to leave sooner than the next segment will be over, and I don't want to rush it. So, we will have to go ahead and call this for now. But I appreciate all of you, all of you on the chat, except for Devin. I cannot believe you, Devin. And then
What did I do?
nothing. You answered 2 minutes. You just too many questions. It was like it was open ended, but you were like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess you're right. I was the only one not enjoying it. Anyways, Devin's at 16.
Devin's at 16.
Anyways, thank you so much for joining, everyone. We'll be back next week with another game show that apparently Meg is running another Dice is Right, which means Jenny will have to wait at least 1 more week until we get back to pictures at some point. But we will get back to pictures at some point, and we will see you all next week with more games, a topic that is the title I listed on this video, so apologies for that. And we'll go ahead and be back at some point in the future.
Flawless exit. Flawless outro. No problem.
Have a
good
great
night,
week,
everyone.
everybody.